Have you ever wondered if the person you're destined to be with is already in your life, but you just haven't recognized them yet? What if love isn't something you have to chase, but something that's already unfolding around you, carefully orchestrated by a higher power? In a world where we often expect love to happen quickly and dramatically, it's easy to overlook the subtle and sometimes unexpected ways God introduces us to our soulmates. What if I told you that divine timing, unexpected encounters, and personal growth are the keys to recognizing the love that was meant for you all along? In this video, we're going to explore 3 profound ways in which God leads you to your soulmate without you even realizing it. It's not about rushing or forcing love, it's about aligning with the timing and growth that makes a true connection possible. Ready to dive deeper into how this spiritual journey unfolds? Keep watching. And let's uncover the divine path that leads to lasting love. Part 1. The power of divine timing. When we think about love, it's often accompanied by a sense of urgency. Society teaches us to seek, find, and hold on to love quickly, as if it's a race to be won. But what if I told you that divine timing works in ways that defy our human understanding? Instead of rushing or worrying about finding the right person at the right time, it's crucial to understand that God's timing is far superior to our own. The Bible, in Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11, reminds us that He has made everything beautiful in its time. There is no hurry when it comes to love. God is preparing the perfect circumstances, aligning both you and your future soulmate in ways that we often don't realize at first. The psychological impact of waiting for love can be overwhelming. We live in a culture driven by instant gratification, where we expect results right away, whether it's a new job, the perfect relationship, or an ideal outcome. But love, especially the love designed by God, isn't something that can be rushed. Think of it as a flower that must bloom at the right time. If you try to force it, the beauty is lost, and the process is stunted. Patience, as frustrating as it may seem, is a powerful tool for spiritual growth. While waiting for God's perfect timing, you are not simply twiddling your thumbs. Instead, this waiting period is a transformative phase. It's during this time that you build emotional resilience, strengthen your relationship with God, and refine your character. Just like a flower needs time to grow and develop roots, your heart needs time to mature and become ready for the love that is destined for you. Furthermore, during this season of waiting, God is aligning your path with that of your soulmates. It's not a coincidence that you may find yourself in a particular place at a particular time, or that you cross paths with someone you never expected. In fact, many people look back on their relationships and realize that had even the smallest detail changed, whether it was a delay, a move to a new city, or an unexpected event, they may never have met their partner. This realization is a testament to the perfect timing God has in mind for you. While waiting may sometimes feel like a frustrating delay, it's essential to trust in God's process. When you stop focusing on when love will come and start trusting that it will come at the right time, you begin to experience peace. That peace is a clear sign that you're in alignment with God's will. In His timing, everything unfolds perfectly, and you will be ready to meet your soulmate when the time is right. Part 2. Unexpected encounters. Now let's move from the concept of divine timing to the idea of unexpected encounters. Often people imagine that love will appear in grand, dramatic moments, perhaps a chance meeting across a crowded room or a spark that ignites the moment eyes lock. However, when it comes to God's plan for soulmates, love doesn't always follow the predictable script that movies and romantic comedies portray. Instead, it unfolds in the most unexpected ways, often in the midst of ordinary, everyday circumstances. Psychologically speaking, this speaks to the idea that love grows and flourishes in moments of connection that may seem insignificant at first. For example, think about how friendships begin. Often, friendships are formed not in moments of intensity or instant chemistry but through repeated, seemingly mundane interactions. Over time, trust builds, understanding deepens, and a connection that once seemed ordinary becomes something extraordinary. The same principle applies to soulmates. Consider the story of Sarah and John. They met at work, both focused on their individual tasks and rarely interacting. On one random Friday afternoon, their paths crossed in the break room when they both reached for the last piece of cake. It was a small, seemingly insignificant moment, but that encounter sparked a conversation, which led to further interactions. Over time, what started as a casual acquaintance turned into a deep, spiritual connection. They later realized that they had been in each other's lives for months. Yet it took that one small, unexpected moment for them to truly see one another. This wasn't luck or coincidence, it was divine timing at work. It's easy to overlook these small moments and connections, especially when we're caught up in the idea that love should come with immediate fireworks. But God works through these seemingly random occurrences to bring soulmates together. Whether it's through a mutual friend, a job opportunity, or a chance meeting at the grocery store, these moments may seem trivial, but they are often part of God's divine orchestration. The key here is to remain present and open. Too often, we rush past seemingly insignificant interactions because we have preconceived ideas about what love should look like. But if you stop for a moment and look beyond the surface, you may find that the person you've been waiting for has been right in front of you all along. By embracing these unremarkable moments with curiosity and openness, you create space for love to unfold naturally. Part 3: Spiritual Awareness and Personal Growth. As we move on, it's essential to discuss spiritual awareness and personal growth. Recognizing your soulmate is not just about being in the right place at the right time. It's also about being the right person at the right time. This means engaging in deep personal growth and spiritual development so that when love comes, you are ready to fully embrace it. Psychologically, the process of growth and self-discovery is essential for entering a healthy, lasting relationship. Many people rush into relationships because they are afraid of being alone or because they think love will fix something within themselves. However, true love, as designed by God, is not about filling an emptiness or completing yourself. It's about two whole individuals coming together to share in a bond that reflects God's divine purpose. Spiritual growth plays a crucial role in this process. As you deepen your relationship with God, you gain clarity about who you are, what you need in a partner, and what your purpose is in life. This is why waiting and preparing are so important. You must develop a deep connection with God and a strong sense of self before you can truly recognize your soulmate. When you're aligned with God's plan and open to His guidance, your heart and mind are prepared to receive the love He has for you. For instance, consider Michael and Rebecca. Michael had spent years working on his spiritual growth, focusing on his faith and self-awareness. When he met Rebecca, he had no immediate romantic expectations. They were friends first, but Michael's deep spiritual connection allowed him to see Rebecca in a new light. He recognized the deep compatibility they shared, not just in terms of shared interests, but in their shared values and faith. This wasn't a coincidence. It was the result of both of them undergoing personal growth that prepared them for a relationship that aligned with God's will. Moreover, when we experience personal growth, we also become more attuned to recognizing the qualities that matter most in a soulmate. It's no longer about superficial traits or fleeting emotions. It's about character, integrity, and spiritual alignment. This deep personal and spiritual awareness is what allows you to see the person God has prepared for you when they enter your life. Part 4: The Spiritual Journey of Love. Another significant aspect of recognizing your soulmate is understanding that love is not just about compatibility in the traditional sense, but about alignment with God's divine plan. God's plan for love goes far beyond personality traits or shared interests. It's about two individuals coming together to fulfill a higher purpose. This means that love, as designed by God, is deeply spiritual, and it reflects His divine purpose for both individuals. In psychological terms, true love is rooted in something deeper than surface-level attraction or even compatibility. It's about a profound connection that transcends the physical and touches the soul. This kind of connection is often marked by peace, clarity, and a sense of purpose. When you meet the person God has destined for you, It's not about finding someone to complete you, it's about finding someone who complements you in the way God intended. Consider the example of Hannah and David. They both had a strong faith and a shared sense of purpose, which brought them together. Their relationship wasn't just about shared hobbies or physical attraction, it was about fulfilling God's purpose for their lives as a couple. Their love was a spiritual journey, grounded in mutual respect, trust, and the desire to honor God in everything they did. This is the kind of love that stands the test of time, not because of external factors, but because it is rooted in something eternal. In this sense, recognizing your soulmate is about more than finding someone with whom you have common interests. It's about finding someone who shares your values, your faith, and your commitment to living a life that honors God. And when that happens, everything falls into place. The relationship becomes more than just a partnership, it becomes a spiritual journey that reflects God's glory. Part 5: Peace as the sign of divine love. Finally, let's talk about peace. One of the clearest signs that a relationship is divinely orchestrated is the overwhelming sense of peace that accompanies it. This peace is not fleeting or circumstantial, it is a deep, unshakable assurance that you are exactly where you need to be. This peace transcends the ups and downs that come with every relationship and offers clarity in the midst of uncertainty. Psychologically, peace in a relationship indicates emotional stability and alignment. It's the calm that comes from knowing that you are in the right relationship, at the right time, and for the right reasons. This peace is not a result of perfect circumstances, but of divine alignment. When God leads you to your soulmate, He also fills your heart with a peace that confirms His plan. You might not have all the answers, and there might be challenges ahead, but this peace tells you that everything is going to be okay. Take, for example, the story of Emily and James. They had both been through difficult relationships in the past, and when they met, they were cautious. But despite their hesitations, they felt a deep peace about their connection. As they grew closer, this peace only deepened, and they realized that they were meant to be together. Their relationship wasn't without challenges, but the peace they felt confirmed that they were on the right path. Part 6: Trusting the process. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the pressure to make things happen on our own terms. We live in a society that values self-sufficiency and instant results. However, when it comes to love, especially the love that God has planned for us, we must learn to trust the process. Trusting the process means understanding that things will unfold in God's perfect timing, not ours. This can be one of the hardest aspects of faith, especially when we're uncertain about what the future holds. Psychologically, trusting the process involves letting go of the need for control. We often feel the need to force outcomes, whether it's in relationships, career paths, or life goals. This desire to control is rooted in fear of the unknown, fear of failure, or fear of not getting what we want. However, true peace comes from releasing that control and trusting that God's plan is far better than anything we could plan on our own. For example, consider the journey of Thomas and Rachel. Both had been in long-term relationships before meeting each other, but they each faced heartbreak and disappointment. When they finally met, neither of them was actively seeking love. They were content with their lives and had learned to trust God with the timing of their future. Their relationship grew slowly, built on a foundation of friendship, mutual respect, and patience. They didn't rush anything. They allowed the relationship to develop naturally, trusting that everything was happening as it should. This trust in the process eventually led to a deep, enduring connection, one that neither had expected but both had prayed for. Trusting the process also means embracing uncertainty. In many ways, waiting for the right person can feel like waiting in limbo. You might have doubts or fears about whether love will ever come, but it's important to remember that every moment you spend growing closer to God, you are aligning yourself with His will. It's this trust that will ultimately lead you to your soulmate. When you fully surrender to God's timing and trust in His plan, the waiting period becomes less of a burden and more of a time for spiritual growth and self-discovery. Part 7. The Role of Sacrifice in True Love. True love, as designed by God, is not a passive experience. It involves sacrifice, commitment, and the willingness to put another person's needs before your own. Sacrifice in a relationship doesn't necessarily mean grand gestures, but rather everyday acts of love, kindness, and understanding. This principle is often overlooked in the modern world, where relationships can sometimes feel like transactions or where we expect love to be easy and effortless. However, true, divine love requires sacrifice, and this sacrifice is what ultimately strengthens the bond between two people. From a psychological perspective, sacrifice in relationships is essential for deepening emotional intimacy. It demonstrates a willingness to prioritize the well-being of your partner over your own comfort. This doesn't mean sacrificing your happiness or identity, but it does mean putting in the effort to nurture and care for the relationship, even when it's difficult. Sacrificing your time, energy, and resources for the person you love reflects your commitment to them and shows that you're willing to invest in the relationship for the long haul. Take, for instance, the relationship between Luke and Emma. When they first met, they were both focused on their careers and individual goals. However, as they grew closer, they began to realize that true love required them to make sacrifices for each other. Luke made the decision to relocate to another city for Emma's job opportunity, even though it meant leaving behind his own career path. Emma, in turn, adjusted her schedule and lifestyle to support Luke's dreams. Their sacrifices weren't dramatic, but they showed a deep level of commitment and love for one another. Sacrifice in love also involves giving of yourself emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. It's about being there for your partner during the difficult times, offering support when needed, and showing up for them even when it's not convenient. The beauty of sacrifice in love is that it creates a bond that transcends superficial attractions and connections. When two people are willing to sacrifice for one another, they develop a deep and lasting trust, which forms the foundation for a lifelong relationship. Part 8. Emotional and Spiritual Healing. Healing is a critical part of recognizing and embracing divine love. Many people enter relationships carrying emotional wounds, past traumas, or unresolved issues that can cloud their ability to love fully. Healing, both emotionally and spiritually, is necessary for opening your heart to the kind of love that God intends for you. Without healing, it's impossible to give and receive love in a healthy, meaningful way. Psychologically, healing is an ongoing process that involves acknowledging past hurts and working through them. It's about allowing yourself to feel the pain, but not allowing that pain to define your future. Emotional healing also involves forgiveness of yourself and others. Without forgiveness, bitterness can take root and hinder your ability to form healthy connections. When you've healed from past wounds, you are no longer afraid to love deeply, because you no longer carry the fear of being hurt again. Consider the example of Lily and Samuel. Both had suffered from broken relationships in the past, with Lily experiencing betrayal and Samuel struggling with feelings of inadequacy. Before they could be open to each other's love, they had to go through their own healing processes. Lily worked on forgiving her ex-partner, while Samuel sought spiritual guidance to overcome his self-doubt. Only after addressing their emotional wounds were they able to come together and form a healthy, supportive relationship. Their healing journeys were individual, but they ultimately brought them closer, allowing them to love each other in a deeper, more meaningful way. Emotional and spiritual healing is not a one-time event but a continuous journey. It's important to understand that healing is not just about moving on from the past, it's about learning from it and using it to grow into a stronger, wiser person. When you allow yourself to heal, you make space for the love that God has prepared for you, a love that is untainted by past hurts and full of hope for the future. Part 9. The Importance of Communication. One of the cornerstones of any healthy relationship is communication. True love thrives on open, honest, and clear communication between partners. Without communication, misunderstandings and resentment can easily take root, leading to unnecessary conflict and hurt. When we think about communication, it's not just about exchanging words, it's about understanding each other's needs, desires, and emotions at a deep level. Psychologically, communication is essential for building trust and intimacy in a relationship. When two people are able to communicate openly, they are more likely to resolve conflicts, share their vulnerabilities, and grow together. In fact, research has shown that couples who communicate effectively are more likely to have lasting, fulfilling relationships. Communication fosters emotional intimacy, allowing both partners to feel seen, heard, and understood. Take the story of Naomi and Elijah. From the beginning of their relationship, they made a pact to always communicate openly and honestly, even when it was difficult. Whether it was about their hopes for the future, their fears, or their frustrations, they made sure to listen to each other with empathy and respect. This communication became the foundation of their relationship, allowing them to navigate challenges together and grow stronger as a couple. In a spiritual sense, communication also involves aligning with God's will for the relationship. Through prayer and reflection, you can communicate with God to gain insight and guidance about your relationship. As you communicate with your partner and with God, you begin to understand not just what you want, but what God desires for your relationship. This alignment is essential for a love that is not just about the two of you, but about fulfilling God's purpose for your lives together. Part 10. Building a future together. Finally, one of the most beautiful aspects of divine love is the opportunity to build a future together. When you meet your soulmate, it's not just about living in the present. It's about creating a life that honors God and reflects His love. Building a future together means setting goals, making plans, and supporting each other in fulfilling your shared dreams. Psychologically, building a future together requires teamwork and mutual respect. It's about combining each person's strengths and dreams to create a vision for the future. It involves setting aside personal ambitions for the sake of the relationship and working together toward shared goals. This is where true partnership comes into play. Both individuals contribute to the success of the relationship and the future they are building. Consider the example of Grace and Daniel, who, after many years of dating, decided to get married and start a family. They had always shared a dream of working in ministry together, and they spent years planning how they would make that dream a reality. They faced challenges, of course, but their commitment to each other and to their shared vision kept them focused. Their love became a foundation upon which they built their family and ministry. And together, they created a future filled with purpose and meaning. Building a future together is about more than just physical possessions or accomplishments. It's about creating a legacy that reflects God's love and purpose for your lives. This is the ultimate fulfillment of divine love, a love that not only blesses the two of you but also impacts the world around you. Part 11. Divine timing versus human expectations. In our world, we're conditioned to seek quick answers and immediate results. We want things on our terms, and we want them now. This mindset, driven by societal norms of instant gratification, often clashes with the concept of divine timing. When it comes to love, especially the kind of love God has planned for us, the timing cannot be rushed. It is not dictated by our personal schedules or expectations. Rather, it unfolds when both partners are prepared, individually and spiritually, to meet each other at the right time. Psychologically, the idea of waiting for the perfect moment can be challenging, as it requires us to relinquish control and trust in a process greater than ourselves. Many of us feel anxiety when we reach certain life milestones and haven't yet met our soulmate. However, embracing divine timing means understanding that delays or perceived setbacks are not failures. They are part of the preparation. Just as a seed must be nurtured before it can bloom, our hearts and minds must be ready to receive love at the right time. Take Sarah and David, for example. Sarah had always dreamed of getting married by a certain age, but when that milestone came and went, she struggled with feelings of inadequacy. However, her relationship with David blossomed only after she had worked through her personal growth and her own emotional healing. They met at a time when they were both at peace with who they were individually. Their love story didn't follow a typical timeline, but it was perfectly orchestrated by God's timing. This is why divine timing is so powerful. It often leads us to the right person at the right moment, when we are ready to receive the love we've been waiting for. Part 12. The Power of Faith in Love. Finally, the most important element that ties everything together is faith. Faith in God, in the process, and in the love that is destined for you. Without faith, it's difficult to trust in the unseen and in the timing that doesn't make sense to our human understanding. Faith is the anchor that keeps you grounded, especially when the journey toward love feels uncertain. It is through faith that you believe God has your best interest at heart, and that He will not withhold good things from you. From a psychological perspective, faith gives us hope, a sense of assurance that, even in times of doubt, we can trust that things will work out. This hope allows us to be patient, to continue growing, and to remain open to the possibilities God has in store for us. Faith doesn't mean passively waiting for love to find you, it means actively preparing yourself, knowing that when the time is right, God will bring the right person into your life. For instance, consider the journey of James and Olivia. They both struggled with past relationships and faced periods of loneliness and doubt. Yet, through their faith in God's plan, they stayed hopeful, focused on their personal growth, and trusted that love would come when it was meant to. When they finally met, their relationship felt effortless because it was built on the foundation of faith. Their love story was a testament to the power of trusting in God's plan, despite the challenges and delays. As we come to the end of this video, it's important to reflect on the deeper truth: love, as designed by God, is not something we chase or force. It's something we prepare for and allow to unfold in His perfect timing. Trusting the process, sacrificing for each other, healing emotionally and spiritually, communicating openly, building a future together, understanding divine timing, and embracing faith. All of these elements work together to create a love that is not just fulfilling, but also divinely orchestrated. True love, the kind that God has in store for us, is not based on fleeting emotions or superficial desires. It's about deep connection, spiritual alignment, and the shared purpose of honoring God's will. When you trust in God's plan for your life and embrace the love He has prepared for you, you open the door to a relationship that is not only beautiful but eternal. So, as you continue on your own journey toward love, remember that your soulmate may already be in your life, waiting for the right time to connect. Trust God's timing, have faith in His plan, and know that your love story will unfold exactly as it's meant to, in His perfect will. Thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Transformative Thoughts channel for more spiritual insights and motivational content. And remember, no matter where you are on your journey, trust that divine love is always guiding you. See you in the next video.